What is up, mental patients? Tormental here with another top 10 list of roles that should be added to Town of Salem. This is the top 10 new role suggestions for neutral benign. These are the roles like Survivor and Amnesiac. They don't really stand with anybody. They're not good, they're not evil, they're just benign. They're just there, and they're trying to live. Okay, so number 10 on my list is the Cipher. A cipher, for those who don't know, can, mean, of course, a message that's encrypted or whatever, but it also can refer to a person who has no personality, no, things like that. I mean, look up the exact definition, you probably would correct me, but there you go. The Cipher can select themselves once to use a bulletproof vest, because they really have no real powers until a certain point, so you gotta give them something to protect themselves. After you live for 4 days as the Cipher, so on the fourth night, you automatically, quote-unquote, decide who you are, which will be a randomly chose, non-unique role. And you say, why did you say randomly chose instead of randomly chosen? Because I'm an idiot. But yeah, you become a random role. You're not like the Amnesiac choosing a role from the graveyard. It actually will be randomly chosen for you. This could mean that if you're the Cipher, and you're in a game with no serial killers, if the neutral benign happens to be a Cipher, you could become a serial killer automatically, just randomly chosen. You could become a lookout. You could become a mafia member. It just would be random. So yeah, it's almost identical to the Amnesiac, except for the fact you're not picking your own role. And of course, you get one bulletproof vest. I think it could add a neat little wrinkle to the game. Sometimes you need something to shake up around. On somebody's side, Mafia could be getting plastered, and then all of a sudden, one day the message comes up, a Cipher has become, a consigliere, and everybody's like, uh-oh, and the Mafia is like, oh, thank goodness. The same thing could be true of Town. Town could be getting slaughtered, and then, the Cipher becomes, I don't know, sheriff. And you're like, oh, phew, thank goodness. Or, maybe they become, a witch, and then nobody's happy. Number 9 on the list of neutral benign roles is the Crony. The Crony is a very simple neutral benign role, very easy, to explain and comprehend. You select one person at night, and you share their fate. That's it. So if you're the Crony and you select, let's say somebody who gets healed that night, the doctor chooses to heal Magnasword, and I, the Crony, choose Magnasword that night. That means that not only will Magnasword be healed by the doctor if he gets attacked, but so will I as the Crony. Basically, you're stealing, without taking it away from the person. I'm not taking away Magnasword's healing. I'm basically saying, me too, me too. If somebody gets bodyguarded, and I select the person who's being bodyguarded, it just basically is like, I'm bodyguarded too, I'm the Crony, I'm with him. So yeah, it basically is based on the idea that you're just sort of like a henchman, a lackey, a Crony. You just go to whomever, can provide for you, and you share their fate for the night. This also means that if you, like, let's say I select Magnasword, Magnasword is a player in the round, and he gets killed by the serial killer. If I selected him, then we both get killed by the serial killer, because I was sharing his fate. So basically, as the Crony, you're trying to find people who aren't going to be attacked. You're trying to glom on to people who are going to be healed. Like, let's say there's a revealed mayor, okay? If there's a revealed mayor, the Crony can just select the mayor at night and say, I know they're going to be protecting the mayor, so I'll get protected too along with them. And again, you're not evil, you're just benign, which means you're not taking away the other person's action. You're just sharing in it. Number 7 is the Salesman. The Salesman is a suggestion that's been floating around for a while, and, this is my version. You select one person each night and try to sell them in action. So in other words, if you have a veteran, and he's used, like, one of his alerts, and he has 2 left, if the Salesman selects the veteran at night, and the veteran doesn't alert and kill him, then the veteran gets another action. He gets another night he can alert. The same thing would be true of, like, the bodyguard. If the bodyguard has used their vest and the Salesman selects them, they sell them a new vest. You could easily go with evil people as well. You can sell the janitor another cleaning. You can sell the forger another forge. Basically what you're doing is you're selling the items to them. You're going up to the janitor and saying, I see that you've used up all of your cleaning materials. Allow me to sell you more, as the salesman. You can't sell anything to players who don't have actions. Like, you can't sell to the medium, you can't sell to the mayor. They're not actually actively doing something. You also can't sell to the same person twice. That way you can't just find out, oh, this person's veteran, I'm going to sell them an alert every night. That would be kind of OP. So you can only do it once per person. The way you win as the salesman is kind of an interesting little twist. A salesman wins with any faction they've successfully sold something to. So if you sell something to a mafia member, like the janitor, then if the mafia wins, you win. If you sell something to a town member, then if the town wins, you win. So you want to cover all your bases and sell to as many factions as you can. And of course you want to stay alive and survive. This is something I think is really interesting because there is no other role that functions like this, where your decisions really determine which faction you win with. If you don't ever sell to the mafia, then if the mafia wins, you don't. Number 7 is the Blacksmith, a role idea that's been suggested a lot, but hard to get right. I feel like I've gotten it right. It's up for debate. The Blacksmith can create a bulletproof vest for any player in the game, up to 3 times. Maybe 4 times. It depends if people think it's OP or if it's underpowered. But yeah, you can select yourself once to make a bulletproof vest for yourself. So this is pretty straightforward. You're basically like a neutral benign doctor in that you are protecting people from attack at night. But the thing is, you have no allegiance. You're not with town. You're not with mafia. You're not with anybody. You're not even evil. You can be good if you want. You can be bad if you want. You just could, maybe you find out who the mafia is, and you get in good with them, and you provide vests for them. Maybe you just keep people alive, that you think might be helping you out in the game. Just whoever they may be. If somebody is attacked and you've given them a vest, it'll just say, you were attacked last night, but a blacksmith's vest saved you. Yay! Number 6 is the Town Drunk. Yet another role people have long wanted, but weren't sure how it would work. The Town Drunk, being neutral benign, can go out drinking up to 3 nights. While you are out, any action done against you except murder will be role-blocked, because you're not at home. So, people are blocked from doing anything to you. This means that the consigliere can't find you. The investigator can't find you. The blackmailer can't blackmail you. Basically, while you're out, nothing can be done except for the fact that the Godfather, vigilante, serial killer, werewolf, and arsonist can kill you. Because they'll just find you, at the bar or something and, take you out in the restroom or whatever. People have always wanted a Town Drunk role. In fact, people name themselves Town Drunk in the round. So I feel like it would be interesting to have this in the game. If for nothing else than the fact that people have always wanted to be the Town Drunk for some reason. This is basically like a reverse Survivor. The Survivor, he puts on vests and blocks kills, but nothing else. So in other words, when the Survivor puts on a vest, if somebody tries to kill him, they fail. But if somebody investigates the Survivor, they find out, basically what he is. If somebody blackmails the Survivor, he can't talk. So the Town Drunk is an opposite of that, in that he blocks everything but kills. So he can block being blackmailed, he can block being framed, he can block everything, except for the fact that he can be murdered at any time. So, yeah, it's a good role for hiding out, for not letting anybody know what you are, until the time you want to decide who you side with. At the halfway mark, we have number 5, the Banshee. The Banshee selects someone at night to tell them the name of their attacker if they survive. So in other words, if somebody is immune at night, or they're healed by a doctor, or they get protected by a bodyguard, or, however, the person would stay alive after being attacked, if the Banshee has selected the person who was attacked, the target will be told who tried to kill them exactly. If your target is killed, the killer will be terrified and unable to kill the next night. So in other words, if I select Magnusword, and Magnusword is attacked but survives, he'll be told the name of who attacked him, because the Banshee will tell him. A Banshee wails the name, Markiplier, who tried to kill Magnusword. If the target is killed, if Magnusword isn't protected and he dies, then the person who killed him will be unable to kill the next night because they're terrified. In other words, it'll be something like, a banshee wailed at you and has terrified you, you know. Anyway, the way you win as the banshee, which is another interesting way, you know, to win, you're not just trying to survive, you're not just trying to sit back and relax. The banshee wins by revealing a killer to someone who is saved. So in other words, the only way the banshee wins is if the banshee tells the target who tried to kill them, which means they have to be attacked, and they have to be healed, protected, in jail, immune, different things like that, using a bulletproof vest. Any way that the person survives will let the banshee tell them who tried to kill them. Keep in mind that this is a neutral benign roll. It's not good. You know, some people might think, well, why isn't that a town roll if you're finding killers? Because you can tell the Godfather if the serial killer tried to kill them. You know, you could tell the serial killer that the vigilante tried to kill them. So, you know, you're not really on the side of good or evil. All you're doing is outing murderers. And that's why you're benign, because the murderer could be town. So, yeah, you're not actually a member of the town. You're not really good or evil. Number 4 on the top 10 neutral benign roles that need to be added to Town of Salem from my own list is the idiot. The idiot will not be told that they are the idiot. The idiot will be shown an incorrect role in the game. Like it'll say, you are sheriff, you are investigator, you are lookout. It actually is always a town role because if you were to get a mafia role, you'd not see the mafia chat and you'd know that something was up. But the idiot is given a fake role and is fed incorrect information based on their role. So in other words, if the idiot is told they're sheriff, then if they investigate people at night, it'll say they're suspicious or not suspicious. Just, basic bullshit. It won't actually be true. If you're lynched as the idiot or killed in any way, your true role will be revealed. It'll say, Tormental died last night, he was the idiot. And that's probably what my obituary will say. But yeah, you win by surviving, and, that's kind of like, a hard mode kind of game, because you're going to be thinking, you've got something going on, you've got information, and people are going to be like, what the fuck, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, you win by surviving against all odds, even though you're getting bad information. I think it could be fun, I think it's really funny. People probably would not want to be the idiot, because it's going to be hard to survive as the idiot. But, you gotta have a little whimsy in your life. You gotta have a little fun. Every so often, you gotta sit back and laugh and say, holy crap, I was the idiot after I was so insistent that all my information was correct. I also think it's an interesting new facet to the game, because currently there's nothing done with secret roles, where you actually don't know that you're a different role. It just could be interesting. Number 3 is the Snitch. Wait a minute, Tormental, why is the Snitch neutral benign? Shouldn't that be Mafia? No! Shut up! The Snitch can select a person at night up to 4 nights to see their exact role. This is sort of like a nerfed consigliere. Yes, you probably are saying that. I know some of you are probably bitching about that. But here's the thing. The Snitch doesn't have an alignment. They're not with town. They're not with Mafia. They're not even necessarily evil. All the Snitch does is look up what people's roles are. They can find out any 4 people's roles unless they're role blocked. And you could make your alliances based on that. For example, you could find the Godfather, and then the next night you find the sheriff. And you can whisper to the Godfather and say, Godfather, I'm the Snitch. This person is the sheriff. It opens up all sorts of new game possibilities. And, maybe the Godfather doesn't believe you. In fact, you could lie and say you're the Snitch and give wrong information if you're like Jester, if you're evil, if you're any number of things. It just basically, I think, is a very interesting game changer. Because you can find out the exact role of somebody, but then how you use that is up to you. Do you want to go good? Do you want to go evil? If you go evil, is the town going to find out and kill you for being the Snitch? If you're jailed, the jailer will see that you're a Snitch. So in other words, when they jail you, it'll say, you have dragged your target to prison or whatever the hell it says. And after that, it'll say, you have jailed the Snitch. So this way, it gives the jailer an opportunity to say, aha, I know you're the Snitch, give me some information or I will kill you. and the snitch, could then lie or tell the truth or whatever. It's basically, as I said, it's like a consigliere that doesn't work for anybody. You don't know which side you're going to end up on. You may side with Mafia, and then all of the Mafia gets steamrolled, and you're left out in the cold, and the town is like, we know that we're telling them information in whispers, you must be the snitch. That's another thing too, is the spy might see you whispering to Mafia, hey, I know your Godfather, this person is sheriff, and the spy would say, whoa, I just found the snitch and the Godfather. Good gracious. At number 2, we have a very simple role that we have needed for a very long time. The stranger can choose one person to kill them and take their role. The stranger comes to town, nobody knows who he is, but eventually he reveals that he is the actual sheriff, and he kills the fake sheriff. In other words, you're picking somebody at night, you can only do this once. It's like the amnesiac remembering their role. You pick one living player to kill them and take their role. So this is for all the times you wanted to take away the role of someone who's being stupid. Let's say the jailer isn't jailing. Let's say the mayor is voting people randomly. Let's say that maybe you know who the Mafia is, and they're being really stupid. You can kill them and take their role. And be like, I'm going to run this show now, and this isn't going to be stupid anymore, because I'm going to do the right thing, because I know what I'm doing! Basically, story-wise, as I said, people often wonder, and when I've told people about this role, people wonder, well, how does that work, that you just kill someone and take their role? The thing is, story-wise, let's say you do this to the mayor. You're a stranger who comes into town who's like covered up and, mysterious, and, who is that guy over there in the trench coat? And, and you realize someone else is pretending to be the mayor. So there's an altercation, you kill them, and you come out as the real mayor, and you're like, I'm the actual mayor, this guy was a fraud. And everybody's like, holy crap, that stranger was actually the mayor. And, this would be, maybe it could be restricted. Maybe you wouldn't be able to do it to unique roles, like veteran, jailer, mayor, etc. But I prefer the idea of letting you do it to anybody. I prefer the idea that if you know who the jailer is, and they're executing, they've executed a town member, and now they're not jailing anybody, and they're saying, all right, AFK, I don't care anymore. You can kill them and take their role. It's a big help to save rounds if the person who gets the stranger role actually knows what they're doing better than other people. And now, the number 1 neutral benign role that needs to be added to Town of Salem from my own list, the Anarchist. The Anarchist selects 2 people each night. Like when a witch selects 2 people, you select 2 people, and you add them to your pool of players that you've selected. People are not notified that they've been added. You're just basically trying to collect as many names on your list as possible. If you get murdered during the night, by Mafia, by town, by, neutral killing, by anyone, everybody you've added to your pool will have their roles switched. Holy crap. If you select the Godfather, and you select the mayor, and you select the escort, and you select the sheriff, now if you die at night, it'll randomly be swapped, so that now the person who was Godfather is now escort. The person who was sheriff is now the Godfather. Everybody has switched their roles. And, this seems like a crazy thing, but that's the point. The point is that it shakes up rounds, it gives you something new and interesting to look forward to, or to be worried about. Somebody who's the Anarchist can basically throw a monkey wrench into the entire round, but it's not a game-destroying mechanic. In other words, it doesn't completely ruin the round, and then it's like, oh crap, the Anarchist screwed everything up, everybody's roles are switched, let's stop playing. No, it's basically taking the round and giving you a different motivation. Because if you're the escort and then suddenly you're the consigliere, now you're just trying to help Mafia win. If you were the consigliere and now you're the jailer, now you're just trying to help town win. So, it's just basically not as crazy as it sounds. It just is sort of like Hey everybody, the Anarchist just died last night. Good luck to you. You're now the lookout. And I think that could be really fun, really funny. It adds a new level of gameplay that I think, is amazing. And let's face it, every once in a while, you play a lot of rounds of the game. Every once in a while, you need something to knock out the staleness, of playing the same rounds over and over again. So an Anarchist would do that. You don't have night immunity, as this says. I need to edit that out, but you probably read it on the screen where it says night immunity. You're not night immune. Okay, but yeah, that's number one on the Town of Salem rolls for neutral benign that have to... I got really shaken reading night immunity there, because I don't know what that came from. I probably copy-pasted it and left that on. Blah. Bonus time! It's bonus time! Here's an 11th roll on the top 10 list. I didn't want to include this in the top 10 list because this is such a strange roll that basically adds a new type of gameplay to the entire game. You can check out the thread linked below and read the entire thing here. The Informant is the bonus roll here. The Informant has sensitive documents in their care that they have to put at somebody's house. So you select one person at night to put the documents at their house. And if they die or if they're hung, that affects whether you win or lose. And, gives you a whole new type of gameplay. I'm not going to go into the entire thing because, as you can see, it's quite lengthy here. And you can just check out the thread and read all the information about the Informant if you like. Yeah, it's sort of like if you become the Informant, you basically have a new mini-game to play in Town of Salem. I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully your interest is piqued enough for you to read it. Okay, that's the top 10 plus a bonus. Neutral benign rolls that need to be in Town of Salem based on my own list. Goodbye, everybody!